So I started editing the June vlog yesterday, and I've got a lot of footage. I'm going to be a little more intentional about what I capture versus what I don't. And there is some footage in there I can't find that I know I took, so I have to go looking for that later today. Good morning. It is July 2nd and I'm here in the studio. I'm going to be planning in my planner today. Being a little nasally congested-y today too, so hopefully I'm not catching what my husband has. And I'm going to turn this off and I'm going to put on some K-pop music because I love K-pop. I'm a Universe fan, aka Pentagon. And I also like Mamamoo, and I've been downloading things off the K-drama soundtracks as well that I like. It's like a good ballad. But Mamamoo and Pentagon are my favorites, and I've recently discovered, I forgot the name of them.
No, not BTS. I like BTS, but I'm not BTS now. Gosh, what's the name? 24? 24? I'm 22, something.
I'll put it here once I look it up. Anyway. So I thought I'd give you a brief glimpse into the process of putting together a full moon dream board. Jamie Ridler teaches this over on her website. So I have quite the, you can't see into that, but I have quite the stack of old magazines and some more recent ones. And what I do is I just pull from the season. So we're in winter, so I'll pull like winter seasonal ones, which for many of these will be Christmas issues. And then this is the leftovers. So I pull more than I need, and so the leftovers go into here. And then I will go through this as well if I have some big gaps in what I need for the day. So I'm going to pull some magazines and I'll just let you watch. I'm going to time lapse it because it'll take forever otherwise. There is magic in this offering and a deep richness, even if we are feeling a bit shy like the echidna. A trip to the ocean? Wisdom found in the creative writing and the creative expression of that writing. The computer is the sign of all the video editing, but the text on it introducing portals into my life and into my imaginary life of Project Starfish, all rich and wonderful. The foal is growing, and I will see this once I settle into the new comfort zone of sharing my life and soul deep. There is the continued reminder or promise of walking the land, regrounding myself back into this country where I was born. The cliffs of vulnerability are scary, but I have the wings to fly from them, using my truth and my art, and the way is known deep in my gut, in my womb. The veiled woman whispers of luscious gifts yet to be shown that remain hidden for now, veiled, holy, as the holy is so often veiled. My light, spirit, will remain beside me to show the way beyond the safe cocoon of blankets. All will be well out there. And I'm going to take the watercolor book out of here and set it up for a watercolor painting. I did some reference photos day before yesterday. We're out driving in the rain, as you do. Let me know if you want to see more dream boards in future vlogs. Comment down below. So here I am doing a watercolor. I took some reference photos of two different areas and I've kind of mashed them together, and there's a lot on this, so I actually filmed this in real time and now I've sped it up so you can see more and not get bored out of your mind. So enjoy the rest of this little time lapse of me watercoloring. bought these labels. I'm not quite sure why you would want glycerin and tannin together, but these were one whole stack. And they're gummed labels, and so they've all been stuck together. So I'm going to treat that as a feature. And then I got one stack of these. So I think I would call that a little overpriced, given that they're not in perfect condition, but aren't they fun? They'll be fun to use. And I also got, entirely for the cover, this book. I mean, it's got like this embossed thing happening here on the spine. It's pretty grungy. It's going to need a good clean. I don't know what those black spots are. And it's in Latin. But I do like this book. It's been seriously eaten. There are holes. And wait, there's more. This has definitely been water stained with something. So it's an unhappy book. I think what I'm going to do is put it in a plastic bag and seal it up and see what wriggles out, I guess. I mean, surely it's been in the antique store for a while. It would have been treated in some way, surely. Apparently the glue is really good tasting. In case you were wondering, you freeze to get rid of book bugs. So this little puppy is in a plastic bag. It's going to go into the freezer for 3 weeks. And then we'll take it out and put it in the fridge so it slowly defrosts. And then I can have fun with it. Yesterday I did a bit of gluing of acrylic skins on. Can you tell where the acrylic skins are? Because I had to hunt to find one of them. And I'm now still having difficulty finding it. Oh, there it is. Alright, so the major area was here, that big white blob from yesterday, and now it's colour. There is no blue coming up through it. Isn't that lovely? Except that bit there that I missed. So there are still some like loose edges I didn't quite get, so today is going to be a go over the edges, smooth them out a bit so that my brush doesn't catch, because we've learned we don't like it when our brush catches on things. And the other bit is down here. This is actually the underside of her skin, because I liked the blue. And there's a third little bit here. I kind of really like the marks and how rough and raw it is, but we are of course going to smooth that out. So today is some more heavy gel matte medium, and that is going to smooth out these edges that I've missed. Maybe cover up some space in here where I can still see some blue leaching. Look at that. Look how clean my palette knife is. This was seriously grunged up, as you can tell by the bottom, but I didn't clean this after I used the matte medium first layer yesterday, and look, it lifted off with the matte medium on the other side, so it's a bit wet still. Isn't that cool? And yes, that's my mess of a palette. Yeah, I did my first ever paint pouring, and I really enjoyed it. It was very quick and easy and simple, so long as you can let complete surrendering to how it was going to look at the end. So that was fun, and I did that with some friends. A friend of mine got together a group of her friends, and I got invited along, so that was nice too. Saw somebody I haven't seen in decades. Two somebodies actually that I haven't seen in decades, so that was good to see them again. I'm going to show you next a moment of painting glory. Just take a look at what happens here.
Alright, you have that one. I would not be honest. Yeah, let's do that.
Ooh. Ooh, you've got like a lily thing happening.
Look at this, like a perfect flower.
That is so cool.
I'm liking that.
My friend dropped off the paintings. They're all drying. This one I'm definitely going to leave as is and varnish. I really like how that came out. There's lots of little spots in there which are interesting. That was interesting. That might happen as it dried, I guess. And then this one, I don't love so much. I'll show you what I do like. I like the intestinal issue happening here. And a little bit here. This sort of like ethereal type look here. But I just love that blend. But it fell off the side of the canvas. I might cover this with some clear gesso and then paint on top of it. Maybe I will pastel portrait on top of it. Or maybe I won't. How windy is it? It's windy. I did some filming and I don't think it quite convinced you how windy it was, but it's quite gusty. I actually will try and film what happened on our veranda. That's how windy it is. So today we're going to do some planning. And I did want to work on this, but I just remembered I'm cooking tonight, so I'm just going to come in and done a second layer of this heavy duty. Good morning, it's the 11th of July and I have done my grocery run for today twice because I forgot to shop for some things, but anyway. So this morning I'm down in the studio. I'm going to do a little work on the zine that I'm working on. A little bit of painting, maybe a little more collaging, and then I need to get my checklist together of things that need to be done before I can call it good. It still has quite a few steps left to finish that before I can start making zines out of the master. I might work on this. I am back from my trip to the Vineyards today. I did 2 gouache paintings. I'll show those in a second. And I just wanted to show this sweater. I've had it for over 26 years. It needs a little bit of repair. There are some threads that have come loose, but it is still a damn good sweater. And I actually got hot in it today, so it's not freezing cold. Yay! So here are the 2 paintings I did today up in the vineyards. You can see smack dab in the middle of the mountains, a little kind of greenish spot. Yeah, it bled into my sky. So I blotted it out as best I could, and then I was just like, it looks nothing like that. I can't get the color of the mountains right. And even when I went for this softer look, which I actually like a whole lot better, it's still too green. There is this kind of purpley blue haze on the hills, and I just can't figure out how to paint it. But I like this one better of the 2. I think it's just a less slapdashy thing. So those are the 2 I did today. I think I'll come back with that tree branch and color it in. I have some white gouache that will take care of that, and then drop in a bit of color for the color of the bark of the eucalyptus. And here I am listening to FLAAP, Fail Like an Artist, a podcast, which is fantastic. You should take a listen to it. I'll link to it below. And I am just marking the outlines of these sketches that I've worked on for portraits. And this is what I'm going to cover up, that paint pouring picture that I didn't like so much. So I am just here tracing, and I thought I would mention that I'm using pan pastel to act as a tracing thing because I don't have any of that transfer paper, and the blue wasn't working, so I made a green with the yellow on top, and that seemed to stand out much better on the background. I really had to press quite hard onto the canvas because it was a little too giving, but once I traced it, I went over it again with a watercolor pencil, and that helped the lines stand out more. Look at the pretty green I made. That was with the yellow and the dark Payne's Grey blue. Well, gotta remember that. And I have just come from the local art gallery where there is an upriver, downriver exhibit that's taken over the entire gallery. The gallery is not a big space, and there are several rooms to it. So we went there, we had some lunch, we've come back, and now I'm going to start on a portrait painting. And these are my personifications of, I would say, 3 guides. One is the guide specifically for my Soul Deep project. And then there's the little backseat voice that asks me, are we there yet? And in her goddess form, she's seen and heard. So being seen, heard, and acknowledged is a good reminder for me, I think guess would be the right way to say. And then the third personification is of my speed of soul, which I've mentioned here and there. And that is the pace at which I move through life. And it's basically listening to one's soul. And so there's the personification of that, and I've called her Claire. So I'm going to work on that today, and I'm going to use open acrylics for these. This will slow down my process a bit, but it will also allow me to blend more like oils, because they have an active open time before they harden and set. Hello, I have an hour in the studio today. It's the 21st or the 22nd, who can remember? So I'm going to set my little timer for an hour, and I'm going to work on the zine. I'm deciding to pull off one of the backgrounds of one of the pages because it's the only page that doesn't have any of my work as a background. So I'm going to pull that off and make it all consistent looking, at least in that respect. And then I still have to decide if I'm going to be illustrating or painting the birds and beetles that I'm going to put in that. So that's on the docket for this morning. I still have my painting sitting in the way back over there. My iPad set up, ready to go for that. And I'll get to that this afternoon. It's a Women's World Cup football today. And wouldn't it be just great if we could just say World Cup and you know what I was talking about? I'll be down here a lot. It starts at 11 here. My husband has asked if I could fix lunch today because he just wants to sit and watch football. So I can do that. And then I'll come back down here and I might go back to this, or I might keep going on the collage. We'll see how inspired I am. Here is the progress of the zine. This has been driving me a little batty. This is the hassle of when you have like 3 or 4 different reference photos and you like merge them all together. Like they're all made of different people. And the proportions weren't the same as each other. So I went through and did a chin to forehead measurement. And so I had to redo her on the end. She's looking good right now. I think even her lips were a bit askew before. They're okay now. We're on number 3 or maybe 4 of getting this face right. And the photo's not helping because the hair's draped like coming in over her cheeks on the side of her face. So yeah, and then even though this is kind of sketchy, I think I might change this blue to the blue that's up the top here so it matches the painting a bit better. If I had been clever, well, I think it was all pink down the bottom here anyway, so there wouldn't have been any blue like this pink down here for me to pick it up. There wasn't any here. And then the Stay Wet palette stayed wet and stayed so wet that it's now basically acting like watercolor paint and is not opaque anymore, which is really annoying. So I've been fighting that as well. I should have perhaps gotten all the bits in place first before I went away, because this is actually good now for lightening up faces. I've done a little lightening on her over here. Yeah, so that's the progress, and we'll let this dry and we'll come back to this, I don't know, next week sometime. There were lots of different styles of paintings. There were like pencil sketches and from all ages as well. I spotted my foal, which is my word for the year. And then I got kind of obsessed about how all the painters were painting the hills, because as you've noticed from earlier, I've been struggling with finding the right color for that. So I just took some shots of some hills. I'm sure these are like layers of like oils, and I will have a bit of an experiment with these colors as I try to actually paint these. All in all, it was a lovely and fun little drive to go and see these beautiful works of art. So it is the 27th of July. I have come back to the studio after quite a few days away. Work on this work in progress. And yeah, it's a lovely day today. I know last time I was complaining about how bitterly cold it was. We have some beautiful sunshine today, so I've been enjoying that. So yeah, so the writing's been going well, and today is a painting afternoon. I think I have about 4 hours that I can play in the studio, which is really good. Oh, I should add, you see me here sketching from my phone. I gave up on the original face that I chose for Ariadne, she's the one in the middle, and have gone for a whole new face, and then we'll just paint the hair in around that. That's the theory, anyway. So this is where I'm going to leave it for today. I need to finish hair, I'm having major lift here. I'm having it all afternoon, so I'm just going to let that dry fully and come back in a couple of days, but we are looking fairly close to done. Finish her face, do their hair. Bob's your uncle, Fred's your aunt. I like how my hands turned out. These are a bit but that's okay. This is the focal point anyway. And these are the 3 brushes I'm using. One's the fine detail. This one is just putting down colour in a big space. And this is a scrubbing brush from Princeton. It's from Cause, it's a round blender. And it does a really nice job of blending skin tones, especially when I'm using the open acrylics, which I am. Now I've got to go wash these. It's the 30th of July, and we're approaching to the end of the month, so this might be my last entry. I have spent the last few days on retreat at a nearby church. I'm doing a variation on the Ignatian exercises, and if that sounds like gobbledygook to you, it kind of was to me too. The original Ignatian exercises were by St. Ignatius of Loyola, so it's basically a way to have a spiritual conversation. Well, tomorrow is the last day of the month. It's not going to be a major day. I'm planning to paint and write, and there was one other thing on my to-do list. Oh yes, my end of the month reflection. I like to do one of those and call it good. So yes, and now I've run out of words.